Welcome to this week's Down Home with Tina episode. It is about that time of year where, warmer weather comes and we get all excited about springtime and planting and having all of the beautiful flowers of summer, and we just get anxious. I also think because of the yards looking nasty from the winter and the mud and the muck and all that stuff. Well, anyways, don't get too big of a hurry in getting flowers out there, even though some of them have already popped up because of the Easter holiday. You have your lilies and some of the tulips and things. Don't get too excited about planting anything at all right now. Wait, because you're going to learn some things during the show. I have from Ohio State University Extension of Fairfield County, Connie Smith, Master Gardener. She's a coordinator, and also, I have along with her is another Master Gardener who we're going to talk about vegetables and gardening with vegetables. Don't go anywhere. It's Down Home with Tina.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our two locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
There's so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
It took 20 years and I got my third child who was 17 at the time.
It's so cool to watch the adult that you've become, and you really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
Dagger Law has more than 110 years of experience in nearly every aspect of the law. When we're not just helping clients, we're helping the community. You'll see us at festivals, sporting events, and around town because we live and work here too. We are your neighbors, and we want to help you when you need it. When we help each other, we're stronger. Our community is stronger. Creating a strong, vibrant, healthy, and safe community is everyone's responsibility, and we take the responsibility seriously. We are local, we are trusted, we are experienced.
Welcome back to Down Home with Tina, one of my all-time favorite people. I have known her for over 10 years now. I know that for a fact because it's been quite some time from when I had originally started in radio and started chatting with Ms. Connie Smith. She is with the OSU Extension of Fairfield County, and I want to get this right, Master Gardener Coordinator, Program Assistant.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yep.
You do a lot of things in the community. Some of you folks have seen that she has been on with me when the fair time, around the fair time, we talk about the Fairfield County Fair. We're not doing that. We're going to hit right to what we're here to talk about today because I know that Connie, you and I can talk for hours about a lot of different things. So to try to just do one topic, and that's what we're trying to do today, is to talk about this time of year is when folks might get a little bit excited about wanting to do gardening and get the weather breaks and all of a sudden we have a beautiful day and they're out wanting to go and get and do. Yeah. And that is not a wise thing to do. So we're going to talk about the safety, the tools, the cleanup, and then I know we have another guest with you, another Master Gardener, that is going to share about the planning piece of it and when we should and when we should not, and what to do, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, well, Tina, when you think about our weather patterns, are really kind of changing, whether we want to admit it or not. Yes. We came off of a winter that was probably not as cold as we're accustomed to. And so those warm days of February, those warm days March, and then people get all excited about gardening. And then if the sunshine doesn't do it for you, walk in any big box store and there is there is seeds, there's garden utensils, there's all kinds of things, and then go to the gas station and there's mulch, lots of mulch, So I thought it would be really wise to talk about some things we could do, some things we shouldn't do, and some things that maybe will make your job easier. So I brought some of my favorite tools that I use at home that I really don't want anybody else to touch at home.
Right.
And that's why my name is on most of them. And I also, these are things that I take with me when we do master gardening projects for OSU Extension. And we do quite a few outdoor master gardener projects. So
when you're talking about these tools, also I wanted to, if you have a favorite brand, not to promote the brand, but I mean just ones that will last a little longer. And that's probably about how you take care of your tools like anything else as well.
it is.
The longevity of
I
them.
kind of have some favorites. There's a company in Ohio, and Extension really shouldn't promote, but there's a company in Piqua, Ohio, A.M. Leonard. They have like the top shelf, top of the line garden tools. If you're looking for something and you know you're going to use it a lot, this is probably my favorite. This is the A.M. This is a soil knife. Okay.
Oh.
I don't even use like a garden trowel anymore or a garden spade. I just use this. And it digs, it does everything I want it to do.
And that's what it's for.
And that's what that's absolutely what it's for. I always found that I could never find a garden trowel that wouldn't flip or flop or I wouldn't break it. And
the
this
handle of it?
Yeah.
Yes.
And so this is a stainless steel knife, and I probably shouldn't be, shaking it around, but I probably use this. This is all I use. I don't have little garden trowels. I don't have anything like that. This is my tool. This
for
is
when
it.
you go to
when I'm going
plant.
to plant, when I'm going to plant
really
annuals,
flowers or
when
annuals
I'm going
or
to plant, when I'm going to like in little garden pots or something, I just loosen up the soil using
with
this.
that.
Yeah, with this. It's sharp on one side. It's serrated. And even this one actually has a little like a ruler on it, so you know how deep you're going. Like if if the tag says plant 4 to 6 inches, you can see what that is.
Which the other tools wouldn't.
No, the other tools wouldn't have that. So that's probably one of my favorites. My other one is I do like a good set of hand pruners. These are Felcos. These are number 9s, and these are probably 15 years old. They look like it, but I use these a lot.
When it comes to the longevity of them and keeping them, what do you recommend to store them? Do you clean them a lot?
Yeah, I clean them I should clean them more, but I just clean them, and then I put some WD-40 on them just to oil them a little bit. I probably need to do a better job of cleaning them, if you want to know the truth. But I love these. I have them forever. I've cut a lot of things I probably shouldn't have cut with them, if you want to know the truth. But they're good tools. They're really good tools.
And you said that's for pruning.
That's for pruning. The other thing I like really, really well for pruning are these big handheld pruners. And I think everybody thinks when they prune, let's say a good one to prune would be like a sedum, autumn joy sedum, or, oh gosh, any kind of coneflower. Some gardeners will say, oh, let's prune one stalk at a time. I'm pretty vicious with these. So I will kind of tie that straggly winter growth up like a ponytail, and then just whack it off all at once.
When do you do it?
I do that probably middle of April when the weather really gets. Yeah, because you're going to get into heaving and thawing. Still January, February, March. Yeah. We could still get cold weather in March. Some of those perennials tend to heave up out of the ground, with all that frost. So sometimes what you want to do is wait a little bit, and then, as you're pruning them, you can take the heel of your foot and kind of smush those back down into the ground. Some of those perennials, coral bells are really good at heaving out of the ground. Sometimes you'll see sedums that will heave. They'll kind of just rise up out of the ground.
And this isn't the greenery that you're seeing yet. It's just the actual
the plant, the root ball. You'll start to see the greenery happen, but you can see it kind of come up out of the ground.
So just push that part. Don't damage the greenery.
Don't damage the greenery if you can help it. Push it back down in, get it back down where it needs to go. You'll see that a lot if you don't have a decent mulch coat around your perennials. So that's, mulching kind of helps with frosty and it also helps conserve moisture, but if
Yeah.
they're popping up like that,
It will also kind of prevent it from coming up too soon. Is that through the mulch
exactly.
does?
You're exactly right.
How much do you think you should do when you put down the mulch? And is it too late to put mulch down right now to cover
heavens.
up you can put mulch down in the middle of winter, right?
Yeah, but you shouldn't.
Oh, thank you.
You
Okay.
shouldn't.
Okay.
My gosh, let's learn something here.
We are.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
why you're here, Master Gardener Connie.
You need to let your soil dry out.
Okay.
You know? And think about you and your garden. Like, I never finish planting till at least Memorial Day.
Oh.
Whatever I'm doing, it's usually Memorial Day. You shouldn't be mulching till Memorial Day. The average date for the last frost in Fairfield County is actually about the 20th of May. That's according to the Ohio Agronomy Guide. So every time everybody gets all in a rush over Mother's Day weekend about planting flowers, you still got about 5 or 6 days to where you could get some cold temperatures. 50% less chance of frost in between then. And what you really want mulch to do is you want it to conserve moisture, you want it to heat the soil up, and you want it as a weed barrier. So if you put it down, and let's say we've gone through a week of rain in April, and you realize you went past the gas station and they didn't have as many bags of mulch as you wanted, and you thought they were going to run out. They're not going to run out, trust me.
Okay.
They won't run out of mulch.
Not mulch.
But you need to be a better consumer and wait till the soil has warmed, the soils have dried, and you get your mulch out.
Yeah, because spring it's wet.
Spring is wet.
Yeah,
Spring is really wet.
Yeah.
So when you mulch, you don't want to put any more than 2 inches of mulch down.
After it's dry.
After it's dry.
Yep.
After it's dry.
Before or after
Before or after what?
the plants, when you're planting.
I always do it after I plant, because
after you plant.
think about you're putting that mulch down to be a weed barrier. It's gonna make a kind of a mat. Well, if you start digging around with one of these
In the mulch,
then you've broken the weed barrier. So you're going to get weed seedlings down in there. So get everything planted you want to plant,
and then do that part.
and then mulching has to be like the last job you do.
Okay.
Think of your outdoor space that you're planting in like your house. Like, like maybe you're planting a bed that is close to the entrance of your house. Think about that like the foyer of your house. You want it to look tip-top, clean, spotless when everybody comes in. You want your plantings outside of the door where you welcome folks into your house. You want it tip-top, clean shape. You want it to look nice, no weeds.
Yep.
Yep, got it?
Yep.
Yep.
Got it. Okay, so we were talking about the pruning piece and that part of it. And then, did you have something else in there?
No, I have my little water, and then I have this one. I have this
that one.
This
Yes, what's
big
that?
lopper. This is really good if you're cutting trees, or you're
Okay,
cutting
the bigger,
the
like the
bigger
heavy
branches.
branches, yes,
Yeah,
branches.
like lilacs and forsythias. You don't
said the
cut
word lilac.
those
I had that in mind. Yep.
until after they bloom in the spring.
Okay, so those are after the beautiful.
Yeah, because if you cut them
scented
beforehand,
flowers.
you're going to cut off all the blooms. So like, let's say you've got a 10-year-old lilac bush. You're not going to be able to cut it with these.
Oh yeah, no.
No. So you got to use something like this.
They're like big.
You got to use something like this. And then you just get in there and you just whack it off really easily. These will extend. I don't extend them, and I don't recommend anybody extending them. You never want to prune with your hands above your head, because you don't know what could come down and hit you in the head.
Correct.
So
Yes.
safety first. Always
Yeah.
safety first. And a lot of people don't think like that because they think it's just one job and I can do it. They don't think about having a professional come and do pruning of trees, pruning of things that you yourself shouldn't try to do.
What do you recommend and we're talking about when we're using our hands, protecting our hands as far as when it comes to gardening gloves?
I have a favorite pair. They're Nitrile 370s, and they feel like a second set of skin.
Oh wow.
You can really feel the earth. You can feel a lot of things you want to feel. I don't use a lot of heavy garden gloves, but I use garden gloves. They're just, you'll be able to see we've got some examples of those that we could show you in a bit.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Because when using gardening gloves, I'm hard on mine, but I've never purchased a good pair. So
Yeah.
I could easily go through them, like
Yeah.
for my one
Yeah.
time of out in the
the
garden.
ones I use now are probably 3 years old.
Oh,
but they're the
nice.
nitrile 3, and they're not super expensive.
Okay,
It's
they're
just,
not.
I like the feel of them.
Okay.
And you could find them, most garden centers will have them because they're really, really popular. There's kind of wild colors, but they're kind of really popular.
Okay.
So
great.
yeah, very
Okay,
cool. Very
Wonderful.
cool.
Alrighty. Well, then, anything else before we get to our next guest?
You know, get out and enjoy being in the garden and really have a plan for what you're going to do. That's the big thing, is knowing what you're going to do. Now, you know, think about, instead of running to greenhouse or garden store and with no plan.
That is disaster anyways, because you
Yeah.
just have all these visions in your mind of what you want, and then you go, what do I need? Where do you recommend for folks who have no idea on what they want or what they need to
Well-
go and to use as resource, Connie?
Well, what makes you happy? Like, what makes you happy around your landscape? What are you going to focus on? A good landscape plan is about 3 to 5 years.
Okay.
So are you going to focus on containers?
Okay.
You know, are you going to focus on big trees and shrubs? Are you going to focus on, I want a water feature? Think about what makes you happy, what you think you want to accomplish in a year. Of course, what resource do you want to use? You always want to use extension, anything that says extension. .edu. You know, a lot of people get into the habit of, I can find anything I need to know, I can Google it.
Yeah, or it's on YouTube somewhere
Yeah,
on,
I can
on
find
how to do it.
Well, you know, are you sure you're getting good research-based information? Because that's really what you want, you know. So always look for that. You can always call OSU Extension, Fairfield County. We're always there. We're just over the bridge behind OUL. But I'd say, like, with gardening, you got to know what flips your switch with gardening. You know, some people, we have vegetable gardeners. We have people who love blooms.
Yes.
You know, so you got to know what you want, and then the other thing is, because I know you're busy, I'm busy, I got to know what I can take care of.
I did an herb garden one year.
How'd that go?
I failed.
You failed? It's
because I
okay.
didn't have the time.
That's the
why I
thing.
didn't put in the time. So you saying that's why I said that.
Yeah.
It's okay if you want to do something, just make sure you have the time to be able to maintain it and manage it. And
Absolutely.
especially because herb gardens, there are perennials in those.
Yeah, there
and
are
you want to be
perennials
able
in
to,
those, and then
you put money and time, and you want to
Yeah.
make sure that you
And the
use
other
it.
thing with herbs is you got to know how you're going to use them. You know, because if you don't know how you're going to use them, they grow very prolifically.
Yes.
And when they grow prolifically and you don't use them and they go to seed, they get really bitter.
Yes.
They're hard to use. So yeah, just have a plan.
Okay. Thank you so much, Connie.
Did that
Might
help?
have you back, but if not, you're just phenomenal. I always love having you. And we're going to get to another master gardener here in just a minute.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. It's Downhill with Tina.
For the last 30 years, I've worked in Fairfield County. The beauty of working in this county is it's small enough that you get to know people on an individual level, that you get to do the kind of work you want to do personally, but it's large enough that we have some resources and we have some ability to bring coalitions together to make some bigger changes.
You have the benefits of a suburban community, and Columbus isn't too far away if you want to get that urban experience. Plus, if I ever feel like I need to get away for a little bit, there's tons of great hiking around here.
Well, Fairfield County is just a really different county, so it's very resource rich. There are so many people in similar and overlapping helping fields. They make excellent community partners.
We all know each other and we don't compete with each other. Like agency-wide, we're all here to serve our clients, and you know someone everywhere, you know what I mean? And so that, I just feel like that helps it to get our clients the best care. So that's a big thing for me.
Community, connections, collaboration. The Fairfield County Way.
It is so important for families to feel comfortable and safe when they call, because oftentimes that first phone call, even picking up the phone physically and just dialing that number, is very hard. You're asking for something that is a very difficult and private decision, and so we want everyone to feel comfortable and safe that you pick up that phone, you make that phone call, and let us just guide you and lead you where you want. And then you can make an informed decision about what's best for you and your family.
Downtown with Tina is brought to you by these amazing sponsors. I would like to go ahead and welcome OSU Extension of Fairfield County, gotta get that right, Debbie Wren, who is a Master Gardener volunteer. And I'm so excited because you're gonna teach us a lot of things in this segment.
I'm gonna try.
And if you're new or you have been experienced, I always like to think that somebody, especially when they are considered master, you know what you're talking about. And I really like it because some of the things that I found out even before we got started. But you're going to talk about now the soil, the temperature of the soil, and planting and gardening, like vegetable gardening.
Yes.
Flower gardens. Yes, correct?
Vegetables.
Vegetables.
Yeah.
Vegetables only. So you, first of all, how did you get started with this? Something you've been doing for years? Because you've been a Master Gardener for how many years?
I graduated from the program in 2005, but my family always had a garden, so I've been around it all my life.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Vegetables, the vegetable side of it?
Both.
Okay.
My grandmother was very good at raising other plants, specifically flowers, but my mom and dad did mostly vegetables. So.
And what I think is unique about what we're going to talk about today is container gardening.
Yes.
Because this is especially, I think, a wonderful segment for those who may not have the space to have a garden and go out there and do all the tilling and getting and all of the rototiller and all that stuff out. You can do this. So what do you have to share with us today?
You can grow anything in a container, any container, as long as that container has drainage.
Okay.
It can be a pot. I do vegetables in a raised bed. I did potatoes in a dog food bag. So as long as your container is in the right space and it has drainage holes, you're good to go. One of the tools that I brought today was this thermometer to tell you the temperature of your soil, because you don't want to plant before your soil temperatures get up higher. Raised beds will typically become warmer before your ground will.
Okay.
So you go out and check your garden and you stick this around and you can tell what that temperature is.
Debbie, for raised beds or container gardening, I think this is, because I'm so glad I thought of this, where do you get your soil for that? Do you purchase it or do you get it from your ground from your yard?
No, for a raised bed or a container, it's best to go, you can go to your local nursery.
Okay.
They have specialized soils, and now you will see that there are a lot of specific container soils or raised bed soils, and I would invest my money in those.
Okay.
Then of course, as time goes on, you do have to amend. You have to put some compost in there to keep all your nutrients and everything fresh, so whatever you're planting has the best chance.
Sure, yeah. And because I like to think that we've got some folks who may consider doing this for the very first time, so that's important information, because I thought that would be great. So you were talking about the dog food bag. You did potatoes in that.
Yes.
So you just went and got the soil, and how did you do that? Because it's interesting.
I just poked holes in the bottom of the bag. I had a 50-pound bag that held our dog food, and I put like about 6 inches of soil in the bottom, put my seed potato in there, and covered it up, and as it grew, I put more soil. So at the end of the season, the bag was not completely full, and it's kind of like opening up a present at Christmas time, because at the end of the season, you dump that out, and here you have lots of potatoes.
Seriously, so they just continued. Yeah. As you continued to put more soil on top, then that gave it more of a chance to, because it wasn't widespread potatoes, it was they're
Right.
going deeper, so you literally probably just cut down your bag and then came out in the potatoes.
Yeah. One seed potato gave me about a dozen.
Nice.
But it's that feeling of, wow, look what I did.
Right, yeah, no, because that's a dozen is about, how many pounds could that be? How big were your potatoes, I guess I should ask.
Well,
and what type of potato was it?
Well,
Does
I
that
like
matter?
Yukon Golds.
Yukon Gold,
That's
okay.
my favorite. So you're getting a potato that's, you know,
about
about
that
like
big.
that.
Yeah.
A dozen of those. That was several meals for my husband and I.
Right, yeah, and so then you just kept doing that. And how often do you water, and where do you place them? Is it full sun? Is it part sun? Things like that.
It has to be in full sun. And I'm a firm believer of sticking your hands in the soil. If you stick your finger down in there and it's dry, it's time to water. But if you stick your finger in there and it's kind of damp, no.
No.
Because you can overwater.
Right, yes.
Yeah, you can overwater.
Yeah, and if it's outside, of course, it just depends on how much rain you're getting.
That's another thing that you have to keep in mind too.
So when it comes to the containers for other vegetables, what is one of your favorites to do?
I grow, and you can grow any of these in any container, you know, your standards, tomatoes, cucumbers, lettuce, peas, carrots.
Do you suggest in different containers or raised bed? It doesn't matter. I mean,
well, you do have to be mindful of what you're planting together. It's called companion planting. So if you're going to be putting a lot of things together, you might want to do a little bit of research.
Okay.
Because there are things that cannot be planted. I have several beds, and I put several different things in each bed.
Okay.
So, yeah.
When should folks, because we could have the frost, when do you think is the best time? I think it was after Memorial Day, do you say? Or does it depend on the vegetable that you're planting?
Well, it can, because you have what are considered cold crops. Your peas, your lettuce, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, those can take some colder temps.
Okay.
So, but anything else like tomatoes, no. You want to wait until you are past that frost-free date before you put those tender vegetables in.
And now I know we were just talking about the planting of the seeds, but when should you purchase your seeds? Because when should you do it before certain times? Because everybody gets so excited and everything because it's all out there right now in the store.
And if there are specific seeds you want, if in the middle of April, if you don't already have them, you better start looking for them, because people do get crazy and they order or they go to the store and they buy. So if there are certain things you want, now's the time you need to be looking.
Some folks, I'm sure, get excited about having new kind of plant, like they do the hybrid plants of different tomatoes, some of them, I would think, where they do. What do you recommend for that? Should they go to a gardening center as well, or for the seeds, or just go to any?
I'll be honest, you should probably just go to your local greenhouse, nursery. Okay. That's your best bet. Okay. They'll know what's good for this area.
Wonderful.
They can help you.
You do projects throughout the year with the Master Gardeners?
Yes.
With OSU Extension?
Yes.
Yes. And do you happen to have the contact information? I know Connie said, she said Extension on the website. Do you know the website by chance, Debbie?
I should.
Okay, that's okay. It's
but
on the screen. We've got it on the screen for folks. Folks, if you are interested in learning more about the OSU Extension, Master Gardening, and things like that, that is the place to really, they have you could spend hours. I really think the folks could spend hours on the website alone learning great information that is good, truthful information. You guys never misguide anybody. They'll just probably maybe tell you what not to do. Thank you so much, Debbie.
Well, thank you.
Folks, thanks so much for watching this week's Downhill with Tina show. I'll be back next week. God bless and good day.